Good morning, students. Let's start our lecture, Functional Anatomy of the Organ of Vision. Questions of the lecture. General anatomical and physiological characteristics of the organ of vision. The structure of the outer and middle layers of eye. The structure of the inner layer of the eye. The nucleus of eyeball, and the last question, the auxiliary apparatus or the organ of vision. Organ of vision consists of the eyeball, optic nerve, and the auxiliary apparatus. For example, muscles, connective tissue, conjunctiva, and others. So, organ of vision consists of the eyeball, optic nerve, and the auxiliary apparatus. The eyeball is a bilateral and spherical organ which houses the structures responsible for vision. It lies in a bony cavity within the facial skeleton, known as the bony orbit. Two bony orbits. Anatomically, the eyeball can be divided into three parts or three layers: the fibrous, vascular, and inner layers, inner layer or retina. The nucleus of the eye includes light refracting structures such as aqueous humor cameras, lens, and vitreous body. This is the outermost layer of our eyeball, the fibrous layer. This is the fibrous layer, is the outermost layer of our eyeball. The fibrous layer consists of the two structures, the sclera and cornea, green color. The cornea is transparent and positioned centrally at the front of the eye. Light entering the eye is refracted by the cornea. The sclera comprises the majority of the fibrous layer. It provides attachment to the extraocular muscles. These muscles are responsible for the movement of the eye. It is visible as the white part of the eye. Look, this is sclera, and centrally positioned, this is cornea. Next layer, the vascular layer. The vascular layer of the eye lies underneath the fibrous layer. It consists of three structures: the choroid, red color, choroid, ciliary body, and iris. So once again, the vascular layer consists of the choroid, ciliary body, and iris. choroid a layer of the connective tissue and blood vessels. It provides nourishment to the outer layers of the retina. This is choroid. Next structure, ciliary body, comprised of two parts, the ciliary muscle and ciliary processes. The ciliary muscle consists of a collection of smooth muscles fibers. They are attached to the lens of the eye by the ciliary processes. The ciliary body controls the shape of the lens and also contributes to the formation of aqueous humor. Look, this is cornea, this is lens, and at this place you can see ciliary body with ciliary processes. Iris. It is a circular structure with an aperture in the center, called the pupil. The diameter of the pupil is altered by smooth muscles fibers within the iris, which are innervated by the autonomic nervous system. It is situated between the lens and the cornea. This is iris, and this is pupil, the aperture in the center of the iris. Iris contains the pigment, the amount of which depends on the color of your eyes. The more pigment, the darker your eyes are. Look at this slide. You can see several structures of the eyeball. This is sclera. This is cornea. Next, you can see iris located between cornea and lens. And also you can see ciliary body with processes, and underneath the sclera located choroid. This is choroid. The inner layer or retina. The retina itself comprises two cellular layers, neural layer and pigmented layer. Neural layer consists of photoreceptors, the light detecting cells of the retina. It is located posteriorly and laterally in the eye. Pigmented layer lies underneath the neural layer and is attached to the choroid layer. It acts to support the neural layer and continues around the whole inner surface of the eyes. This is retina. Anteriorly, the pigmented layer continues, but the neural layer does not. This part is known as the non-visual retina, anteriorly located. And posteriorly and laterally, both layers of the retina are present. This is the optic part of the retina. So once again, our retina divided into the non-visual retina anteriorly without photoreceptors, and the optic part located more posteriorly and laterally. Optic part includes photoreceptors of the retina. The optic part of the retina can be viewed during ophthalmoscopy. The center of the retina is marked by an area known as macula. It is yellowish in color and highly pigmented. The macula contains a depression called the fovea, which has high concentration of light-detecting cells. This area is responsible for high acuity vision. Look, this is the macula with fovea. And the area where the optic nerve enters the retina is known as the optic disc. Optic disc. It contains no light detecting cells. So you must know two structures. At the posterior part of the retina, macula with fovea contains big light detecting cells, and optic disc. It contains no light detecting cells. It is the area where the optic nerve enters the retina. Look, at this slide you can see the bottom of the eye in ophthalmoscope. This structure is the macula, and more laterally located the optic disc. This is the optic disc in ophthalmoscope. Also you can see receptors of the retina, the rods and corners. You must know these types of the receptors, the rods and corners. This is lower of the receptors of the retina. Next structure of the eyeball, the nucleus. The nucleus of the eyeball includes the lens. The lens of the eye is located anteriorly between the vitreous humor and the pupil. The shape of the lens is altered by the ciliary body, changing its refractive power. In old age, the lens can become opaque, a condition known as a cataract. Look, this is the lens. It has two polluses, posterior polus and anterior polus. Next, structures of the nucleus, chambers. There are two fluid-filled areas in the eye known as the anterior and posterior chambers. The anterior chamber is located between the cornea and the iris. This is anterior chamber. And the posterior chamber located between the iris and ciliary processes. The chambers are filled with aqueous humor, a clear plasma-like fluid that nourishes and protects the eye. The aqueous humor is produced constantly, and drains via the trabecular meshwork, an area of tissue at the base of the cornea, at this place, near the anterior chamber. Look, this is anterior chamber and this is posterior chamber of our eyeball. If a drainage of aqueous humor is obstructed, the intraocular pressure will rise, a condition known as glaucoma. Next structure, the vitreous body, Latin name corpus vitreum, jelly-like transparent substance that fills the space between the lens and the retina in the eye. It takes about 2 or 3 of the volume of the eyeball. The main functions of the vitreous body are giving the correct form of the eye and refraction of incoming light on the retina. Look, this is the vitreous body, And at the anterior polys you can see the fovea. In this fovea lies the lens. Next structure of the eyeball are the optic nerve. You know this information. It is the second pair of cranial nerves. It is sensitive nerve. Innervates the retina. Doesn't have nuclei. The optic nerve has 4 parts. Intraocular, located inside our eye. Intraorbital, the longest part of the optic nerve, intraorbital, located in our orbiter. Next part, intracanal, located inside optic canal. And the last part, intracranial part, located inside our skull until the optic chiasm. An auxiliary apparatus of the eyeball consists of 3 apparatus: protective, muscular apparatus, and lacrimal apparatus. The muscular apparatus includes the extraocular muscles. The extraocular muscles are located within the orbit, but are extrinsic and separate from the eyeball itself. They act to control the movements of the eyeball and the superior eyelid. There are 7 extraocular muscles: the levator palpebrae superioris, next 4 rectus muscles, superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial and lateral rectus muscles, and 2 oblique muscles, inferior and superior oblique. Look at this slide. Number 1, it is levator palpebrae superioris muscle. Next, you can see 2 oblique muscles. Number 8, it is inferior oblique, and number 2, superior oblique muscles. superior oblique muscle innervated by the trochlear nerve. Next, 4 rectus muscles. Number 4, lateral rectus muscle innervated by abducens nerve. Number 7, inferior rectus muscle. Number 3, superior rectus muscle. And number 5, medial rectus muscle. So these muscles are innervated by oculomotor nerve, the third pair of the cranial nerves. Next, the protective apparatus includes fascia of the eyes, fat body located between eyeball and orbita, eyelids or palpebrae, eyebrows or supercilium, and eyelashes or cilia. Look, this is supercilium, you know this structure. This is eyelashes, cilia, and this is palpebra superior, palpebra inferior. And the last lacrimal apparatus, apparatus lacrimalis, consists of 2 parts, forming the lacrimal fluid, the lacrimal gland, and outputting the lacrimal fluid. Includes the lacrimal lake, lacrimal points, lacrimal ducts, lacrimal sac, and nasolacrimal duct. Look, you can see the lacrimal gland located in our orbita, laterally and superiorly from eyeball. It produces lacrimal fluid. Then you can see superior and inferior lacrimal ducts. This is lacrimal lek, punctum lacrimal or points. Then you can see canaliculi lacrimalis, canalis lacrimalis, opens into the sac or saccum lacrimalis, and saccus lacrimalis then continue into the nasolacrimal duct. Nasolacrimal duct opens in our inferior nasal meatus. You know this information. So students, today all information about structures of our eyeball. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.